My name was Brooke, and I'd been looking forward to my 25th birthday for weeks. I imagined it would be a quiet, warm celebration with family, a night full of laughter and small smiles. But the moment I stepped into the dining room, I felt it, the tight knot in my chest that told me something was wrong. The room looked perfect from the outside, soft lights, polished glasses, decorations hanging neatly. Everyone was smiling, but not a single smile reached their eyes. I tried to shake it off, thinking maybe I was being too sensitive. My sister arrived late, as usual, confident and loud, carrying herself as if she owned the room. She hugged me quickly, and her perfume was sharp, familiar, like a warning I should have noticed. Dinner began politely, but there was something cold in the air, something rehearsed in every conversation. My parents talked about work, neighbors, anything but me. I poured myself a glass of wine, trying to settle my racing heart. Then my sister cleared her throat. The room fell silent, and I knew something sharp was coming. Her eyes locked on mine, not with anger, but with cold precision. "We're ashamed that you use our last name," she said. The words landed like a punch. I froze, unable to believe what I had just heard. For a moment, I thought my brain was protecting me, twisting the sound. But then I saw my mother nod, lips pressed tightly together, as if this was perfectly reasonable. My father didn't speak, but his eyes were proud, the same pride he always reserved for her when she won awards or impressed everyone else. I felt my heart sink. This wasn't a mistake, not a moment of thoughtless cruelty. This was a verdict they had already decided on. I sat quietly, holding my wine glass tightly, feeling the stem slick between my fingers. My heart beat so loudly I thought the whole room could hear it. I stared at the tablecloth, refusing to let them see me cry, because that would only give them more power. I thought about all the years I had carried this last name, all the times I defended it, tried to make it mean something good, and suddenly it felt like they were ripping it off me in front of everyone, exposing me as nothing. She continued, her voice calm but filled with superiority, explaining how my choices reflected badly on the family, how appearances mattered, how everything I did was somehow a failure in their eyes. Each word felt like another precise cut. I wanted to argue, to shout, to ask since when love came with conditions, since when a name was earned through obedience. But my throat closed, and all I could do was stay silent. The room felt smaller, the walls pressing in, the candles flickering nervously as if they too sensed the tension. I realized I was completely alone in my own birthday celebration. Then I noticed my grandmother at the far end of the table. She had been quiet until now, her hands folded, her eyes sharp and unwavering. There was a patience in her gaze that demanded attention. Slowly, she pushed her chair back, the legs scraping against the floor softly, and for a moment it was like the room held its breath. My sister stiffened. My mother glanced nervously between the two of them, and my father's proud expression wavered slightly. Grandma looked at me first, really looked at me, and in her eyes I saw recognition, understanding, and validation. Then she turned to my sister. Her voice, calm but commanding, cut through the tension. "Sit down." The words weren't loud, but the room responded like they had been shouted. My sister froze, her posture collapsing as she lowered herself back into the chair, her face draining of color. The silence that followed was so thick I felt it pressing against my ears. Grandma didn't sit. She remained standing, her hands resting on the table, eyes sharp and clear. And then she began to speak. She had watched this family for decades, she said, watched pride turn into cruelty, standards into weapons. She spoke about love, about how it should be given freely, not used as leverage or punishment. She asked my parents when they had decided that appearances mattered more than their own child. My mother opened her mouth to respond, but no sound came. My father tried to defend himself, saying he only wanted what was best for the family name, but Grandma's voice remained firm. She said the family name meant nothing if it was used to crush the people who carried it. I felt a shift inside me, like a knot was loosening. For the first time that night, someone was saying out loud what I had felt for years but never dared to voice. Grandma turned to me and listed all the times I had been there for her, all the small ways I had shown care when no one else had time, helping after my grandfather died, carrying groceries, listening to stories, fixing small things quietly, never asking for praise. Each example painted a picture that my sister's harsh words could not erase. Her confidence shrank as my worth was quietly recognized. The power in the room had shifted. My parents looked stunned, like they were seeing me for the first time, and my sister laughed nervously, trying to brush it off as overreaction, but no one joined her laugh. The tension remained, and I realized I wasn't shaking anymore. For the first time that evening, I felt steady, strong, like the silence around me was mine to command. My mother apologized quietly, without excuses, and my father stared at his plate, his pride wounded in a way that couldn't be patched over. The rest of the evening passed in awkward, forced conversations. Cake was eaten without enthusiasm. My sister avoided my eyes entirely, her earlier confidence gone. Grandma hugged me last, holding me longer than anyone else, whispering that a name doesn't make a person, but a person can redefine a name. And I carried those words as I stepped outside into the cool night air, feeling lighter than I had in years. I walked home knowing that this birthday hadn't magically fixed my family. It hadn't changed them overnight, and it hadn't turned my sister into someone else. But it had given me something more important. It reminded me that I didn't need anyone's permission to belong to myself or to my own story. The shame they tried to hand me was never really mine to carry, and sometimes the quiet ones at the table are the strongest, waiting for the right moment to be seen. That night, I learned something I'll never forget. Strength isn't always loud. Sometimes it's quiet, calm, and deliberate. It's letting someone else reveal their cruelty while you stay composed. It's knowing your worth without needing validation. That night, I walked away lighter, braver, and ready to face the world on my own terms. Even as the years pass, I'll remember that birthday not for the words that tried to hurt me, but for the one voice that spoke the truth. And I'll carry that lesson forever. No one can define you. No one can diminish you, except yourself.